Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. I have an amazing video for you guys today. We're going to be talking about REIT and how it's going to affect the single family housing market. Now, do you guys know what REIT is? REIT is right here, Real Estate Investment Trust. Okay, that's what it stands for, Real Estate Investment Trust. So what is this basically? Well, basically it's a publicly traded companies, or it could be private companies, and it's a group of investors, or like I said, like public companies that go around the United States or around the world really, and they buy properties and then they go ahead and rent them out because it's a business, right? Like any other business. And lately they have been investing in single family homes. Because they know the rent is really expensive. And here's the problem is that so it is almost impossible for the regular people of a neighborhood to compete against these investment firms. Why? Because they generate a lot of money through their investors, right? If it's a private equity fund, you can see situations of incredibly rich people that join this equity fund, and they all put in, X amount of dollars, into millions and millions and millions of dollars. And now this, equity fund can go into a market and just buy 10 houses, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 houses. When they go in, since they're doing it at that level, they're buying in bulk, they have all the paperwork. There's no emotion to it. They're basically in a little computer somewhere looking at numbers and trying to crunch numbers and seeing what makes the best financial decision, right? What's gonna make the most profits. Now that's all great and dandy. That is part of America, because here, like it says right here, but is this a good thing for the single family market? At one time, the single family residence was the epitome of having attained the American dream, white picket fence, and the rest. So basically, yeah, there was one time where our parents and grandparents, they bought a house, and then they passed that house down to their kids, and then to their kids. And that is called basically building family wealth, right? Generational wealth. Now, when you have all these companies going into the market and buying up the real estate the way that they are, they're basically, in some ways, although it's good if you invest in those companies, sure, because you can make money, right? Like in the stock market, if you invest in a public one. But as a whole, I think that personally, the single family homes are better left to single families or to families. Why? Because it's how regular middle class and even lower class can build wealth, right? And that's, at the end of the day, that's good. Sure, you can be renting your whole life and then you could invest in these companies on the stock market and then make money. Yeah, absolutely. But there's something said to owning a house, a home, right? I think it's a big deal. And I do believe that, people should be able to buy a second, third home, fourth home and rent it out. I do believe that. I think that's good. But at the same time, I'm not 100% with the idea of big corporations being able to go in and just buy, with unlimited funds, basically, right? Because it basically is going to price us out, and it's gonna keep us basically living, it's gonna turn a community into a bunch of renters. And I really just don't agree with that. Now here, let me just read from this article a little bit more. The goal of traditional home buyer is a manifestation of a dream, but for the REIT, it's something else. For them, it's all about the return on investment. Many people wonder if REIT participation distorts the market. Well, what do you guys think, right? I kind of agree, right? It does distort the market. To help answer that, let's look at the REIT motivation. The purpose of a REIT is to produce a return on capital investment by its investors. That is all that they're supposed to do. Environmental, social, and governance criteria aside from now. As such, they need investment vehicles that are commercially viable and understandable for the most part. Why does this understand what who doesn't understand what a house is, right? So basically it makes it really easy for investors to jump in. They get it, right? When they see rents going through the roof, they understand that there's a potential there to make money. And if you got, it's a lot safer to put $10,000 into a investment fund or a public company that deals in this than to save and buy a house, a second house, and rent, save enough for a down payment. Remember, real quick, when you are gonna buy a second house, you gotta, if you really want to make money on it, you probably have to put more than 20% down. You probably have to put 20, 30, 40, even 50% down. That way you can have the actual rent pay the mortgage. Remember, when when you do the math on a year worth of rent, don't do it on 12 months, do it on 10 months, okay? Because that's most likely what you're going to get, because renters are fickle, and if they leave, you're gonna need time to get the house ready for the new renters, and that takes a little bit of time. So always do the math based on 10 months. So in order to do that, you really have to put a big down payment, because right now, although rents are high, prices are high too on homes, right? So moral of the story is, if you don't, imagine saving up 50% to buy a house in this market is incredibly difficult. So what's better, right? Like, hey, if you got an extra 10 grand, why don't you just put it in the stock market into one of these companies, and then you can make your return on investment. It's definitely not going to be the same as owning the house, that's for sure, but at least it's easy. You don't have to think about it. You basically go in, you do a trade, and then you set it and forget it. Versus if you buy a second house, unfortunately, that's not going to happen. It's constant taking care of your property. It's making sure that everything is working, making sure that those rent checks are coming in on time. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that has to happen, right? And it makes it, to some people, it just doesn't make it that attractive, because it is, in a way, kind of a pain in the butt. Here. So basically, that's what this article is about. What do you guys think? Do you agree with, companies like Zillow and Redfin and REIT companies going in and just buying massive amounts of land and basically properties and basically renting it back to us? I'm not 100% on that, although it's legal in every single way. I mean, it is an open market. You can do that. I just believe that it's going to make it harder for people like you and me to compete against these corporations when we want to buy a house. So just putting that out there, it's one of the, but here, check this out. I forgot to tell you. Here's the thing, okay? And this is what they're not telling you, is that if there is a big drop in the market, right, in the stock market, and these REIT companies start losing hand over fist, where where basically values of their stock are down in the dumps, they're gonna want to, they're gonna want to generate some cash, and they might unload some of their houses, because remember, they're just investors. They don't care. If they have bought a certain percentage of their portfolios underwater and rents are plummeting, guess what they're gonna do? They're gonna sell those houses, because they're gonna try to limit their losses, right? And yeah, for that year, this stock is not gonna do that well, but at least they're gonna get their money back. But on the flip side is on our side, we're gonna have supply just boom, right? Which would further the price drops in houses. So this could work for us if there's a big market crash, which I actually do predict there is. We're gonna head into a big market crash in the next year or two, which will hopefully bring down all the prices of all the homes. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and finish this video. I just wanna say one thing. Everyone that's been watching my videos lately, I just wanna say a huge thank you. Thank you for the support. Thank you for, listening, and thank you for commenting and liking my videos. It feels great. I am overwhelmed, and I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys are the best. If you guys do like my videos, don't forget to smash that subscribe button and go ahead and like and leave a comment. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys, and I'll see you on the next video.